She's the famous physician known as Dr. Roxy.
You could travel the world.
She live-streamed plastic surgery on TikTok, gaining a huge following.
So if you want to get in the OR and see behind the scenes and how this stuff works.
But now, Dr. Roxy, whose real name is Catherine Grawi, has been permanently stripped of her license by the State Medical Board in Ohio.
Dr. Roxy claims that this will change her life forever. Well, she has single-handedly forever changed the lives of at least 3 people.
The board said its decision was based on her failure to meet standard of care following evidence that she botched 3 surgeries. Kelsey Cardenas went to Dr. Roxy for a breast lift.
I found her on TikTok. I definitely connected with her personality.
Kelsey says she watched videos of Dr. Roxy performing surgeries every day for months.
Did you talk to any patients or anything like that?
No, I didn't know anybody who had had surgery.
So you assumed because she was this TikTok personality that she was going to do a great job on your breasts?
Yeah. If you're brave enough to live stream surgery and you're that transparent, you would just assume, that she's not having the issue she was having.
But Kelsey says she suffered major complications.
By 4 weeks, I had a 5x5 wound under that breast.
She live streamed your surgery.
She did.
Do you feel that could have contributed to what happened? Do you think she wasn't paying attention?
Rewatching it, I saw a couple cuts that she made when she was clearly talking to the camera or focused on what she was saying to them.
Kelsey says she finally went to another doctor.
He said there's no way this is ever going to look normal again.
Dr. Roxy had no comment about being stripped of her license.
No comment today, thank you.
24 hours at the best. She's not going to make it.
Not live another day. April Brown remembers that moment, June 2010, dying in a hospital bed. A staph infection, she says, eating her body away.
I really wanted to live, and I just really wanted to live.
The one-time cosmetologist was seeking beauty, silicone butt injections. An acquaintance was offering injections at her house at a cheaper price than a doctor's office. The real cost would come later.
I was in pain. My butt was hard, and I was itching.
When they removed the silicone, did they test it?
Yes.
What was it?
It was bathroom caulk sealant.
Bathroom.
Bathroom.
The stuff you buy from Home Depot.
Yes, absolutely.
It would take 27 surgeries.
I might have to go a little bit higher.
My hands just kind of popped out with this, pink nail polish, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my hands. I'm going to lose my hands.
And her feet.
Although I'm crying.
A horror story, and not the only one. What is that?
This is a close-up of her right cheek that shows these swollen, red, angry nodules.
Dr. Richard Glogow at the University of California, San Francisco shows us what's happening with the patient's face. This is something growing underneath her skin.
Yeah, right. Within a week to 10 days of that picture being taken, it looked like this. The body is reacting to the material.
The patient thought she was buying an injectable filler to smooth wrinkles and injected it with the help of a nurse. She purchased it off a website, pmma.com. The website claims to sell dermal fillers for professionals direct to customers. A similar treatment at a doctor costs nearly $800. The website sells it for just $100. The FDA says only licensed medical professionals can legally make these purchases. For consumers to buy direct, it's illegal. When Dr. Glogow removed the substance and tested it,
glass or fiberglass. So this was material that contained material that, the body is not prepared to accept.
she injected glass or plastic in her face?
Probably.
Dr. Glogow doesn't blame the patients. He says in a world where Botox and fillers are now commonplace and where the web offers fast and easy access to the inaccessible,
People assume it's just as easy as getting your hair colored. And at the end of the day, it's a medical procedure.
as far as April Brown, she's learned to walk with prosthetics and even how to write. But her most powerful skill now is teaching others about her mistake.
All I can ask them to do is, when they have that first thought, make sure they have a second thought about it and do a little research, and they won't be blindsided. And they won't be saying, oh my God, I had no idea that a simple procedure like that could leave me with no hands, no feet, and no butt cheeks.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nerd Chronicles. This is your host, Proud Lane, certified beta male simp or whatever label, alpha, whatever the heck type of stuff it is, with no game whatsoever or no communication skills whatsoever. The socially awkward nerd, Christian Paul's entered the building once again. And around a year ago, I was actually doing some findings and actually posting up videos related to hypertension based on data analysis and machine learning around the time. Basically studying certain instances basically on like a data set based on hypertension, actually giving advice and telling the public what hypertension is. And one part involves mainly dealing with rehabbing Disney princesses, which we're primarily focusing on this video strategy for the ladies here. And I want to give a huge apology in regards to one quick part in which I was discussing more about plastic surgery. And I advise you ladies, okay, that are dealing with high blood pressure and then facing hypertension, go to a rehab facility, you know what I'm saying, whether it's like a nail salon, health salon, acupuncture, you know what I'm saying? No, even if it's like plastic surgery, whatever it may be, you know what I mean? Please, please, please give yourself a fully deep moisturizing treatment. Okay, that's very important. I truly apologize when it comes to that little screw up that came by regarding the plastic surgery ordeal. I was trying to basically how should I definitely describe this? I basically was trying to generate a way in order for like a woman to literally trying to calm her stress levels down or release some of her tension in any way, you know, basically trying to actually make herself feel joyous again. Even though I meant well, the delivery was a bit off when it comes to the whole plastic surgery statement. And after seeing a bunch of videos in regards to those plastic surgery incidents and seeing all these news clips on botched surgeries from woman after woman after woman.
He's a California plastic surgeon who calls himself Dr. Laguna, posts videos about himself on YouTube. But these former patients are among those who say he botched their surgeries and they're now suing the doctor. Among their claims that he let unlicensed members of his staff perform procedures. Lisa Guerrero reports.
It's a police raid on a famous plastic surgeon.
There's the police. They're all over his house.
This is Dr. Laguna. Dr. Arian Malavi calls himself Dr. Laguna after the ritzy seaside town where his office is located, Laguna Beach. And the woman filming all this drama is a former patient.
How would you describe your experience with Dr. Laguna?
I would describe it as a nightmare.
Hi, I'm Shalene Johnson, and welcome to Kickin' Core.
Shalene Johnson is a fitness guru and podcaster. She says she went to Dr. Laguna for a breast reduction and to have a tiny 4-inch C-section scar removed from her stomach.
I went to a plastic surgeon after the recommendation of some really great people who had really great results.
Initially, she posted on social media she was happy with the results, but she says when the bandages came off,
this is what I woke up to.
Johnson says she knew something was wrong.
The hip-to-hip scar that, you know, I have to deal with for the rest of my life.
When she shared her story on social media,
I started getting flooded by other women who were like, I know who you're talking about. This happened to me. This exact same scenario.
Shalene and 29 other women have now filed a lawsuit against Dr. Malavi. They accuse him of botching their surgeries and in some cases claim he performed unnecessary surgery they didn't even ask for.
He did. He performed surgeries on me that I didn't approve of. I think he did that for most of us.
Dr. Michaela Sarno, nurse Brenda Clark, and Joella Hopkins.
The scar
goes from one corner of my hips to the other.
All say Dr. Malavi performed additional procedures without their permission.
He completely removed and made my butt flat.
Hello, this is Dr. Arian Malavi.
In 2022, the California Medical Board alleged Dr. Malavi committed gross negligence by allowing unlicensed members of his staff to perform surgery on a patient who died 3 days later. Dr. Malavi admitted no wrongdoing, but he agreed to have his license suspended for 3 months and was given 10 years probation.
I mean, look at that right there. Insane, right?
Shalene says this video shows Dr. Malavi allowing an unlicensed member of his staff to perform surgery on an unsuspecting patient. A lawyer for Dr. Malavi says that's false.
This will fade. What won't fade is the emotional experience, the nightmare.
There are various demonic, illegitimate, even though board certified, and money-hungry surgeons. Okay, it had me singing a little bit of different tune, and I actually wanted to dig more into the world of plastic surgery from a much deeper perspective. And again, I truly apologize in regards to the whole ordeal, and I'm gonna actually dig into the instance of telling you why plastic surgery may not be the best option, just to release hypertension, or why plastic surgery could be extremely risky, even if you're going to a surgeon that's board certified, and all these other things. It could definitely be risky for your health. It could definitely be risky for your life. And more so, in order to actually literally try to get the shape that you want, or you want to actually try and get that little body look that you mainly want, primarily ladies, and in some cases gentlemen, and before I even go there, right? Before I go there, ladies and gentlemen, understand that plastic surgery is a huge billion-dollar business when it comes to the medical industry. Way more profitable than actually taking care of patients, way more profitable than internal medicine, way more profitable than nephrology, oncology, hematology, ophthalmology, any other form of medicine that you name of. Plastic surgery is definitely the most profitable. Because, well, how so? Because you're dealing with a man, a people, primarily women, that mainly want a certain look and will do everything they can to literally sell out money, or even sell money out of pocket, just to attain their desired look that they're mainly looking for. And it's like a monthly, yearly round profit, yearly round profit that a lot of plastic surgeons mainly make. That can literally get them big bucks. Even way more than like a general surgeon that deals with like emergency trauma or any other issues that have been going on when it comes to certain diseases. Plastic surgeons make way more bank, right? You literally have like reality TV shows based on those instances where you have plastic surgeons literally become reality TV stars based on doing what they do professionally and not even letting live streaming and all this other YouTube really get up in the way. And again, there's nothing wrong with posting YouTube clips basically on your surgeries if you're a doctor, if you're a plastic surgeon, or if you do like a reality TV documentary based on those surgeries. As long as you're actually trying to get those highlights down, as long as you primarily focus on the patient, which is mainly important, that is like the most important ordeal. It becomes an issue if you focus more on live stream, focus more on the viewer than the actual patient. And we are actually going to literally get into that later on. But with the whole plastic surgery ordeal and the overview of it, the plastic surgery route, in my opinion, is literally like a get fit quick scheme. And when it comes to actually literally trying to get yourself in tip-top shape and losing weight and all that stuff, and trying to make yourself, more having the lifestyle or the physique that you mainly want, there's no cutting corners. There's no easy way to really obtain some bodies or some fits like this. You know what I mean? It takes months to years to reach peak performance, to reach to that peak physique, as you will, whether it's like bodybuilding, powerlifting, calisthenics, or even being like a regular athlete, literally trying to maximize his or her improvement in certain sports or maximize his or her performance in a sport. There's no cutting corners. There's no easy way of handling something like this. And even if you do get the plastic surgery that you're aiming for, it still requires maintenance once you're fully healed. It still requires discipline to literally getting yourself active, walking, going to the gym, pumping iron at times, or even doing calisthenics just to literally try to maintain your shape, even after your surgery. But if you literally eat like junk food, fast food frequently, if you eat like all this crud food that you get from like the North American diet in some cases, you eat all that oily food with all this vegetable oil, you eat too much meat, you eat too much ground beef and all that stuff, unfortunately it could be like a world of hurt for you literally down the line. And you could lose some of this stuff, you could lose some of this physique that you built off of plastic surgery based off of that if you have a lack of discipline to literally maintain the shape that you have. Especially with mine like Dane here that want to try and have like the quick fix of doing a liposuction so he could appear to have the six-pack abs. And we know there's some dudes that have plastic surgery, get like some freaking silicone biceps, silicone triceps, even silicone pecs, just like women. Silicone abs.
This is probably going to be the most drastic move I would have ever made to accomplish that look. My name is Jay Kuza. I'm 40 years old. I'm single, bachelor here in Miami. I work out 6 days a week, and I'm going to get an ab sculpting procedure. A six-pack is going to feel great.
I think men sort of had the attitude 10, 20 years ago, what you see is what you get, versus nowadays, that paradigm is changing.
Working in digital, it's a young man's game or a young person's game, and you don't want to be in a situation where you're not looked at as qualified for a position because you've aged out of it. My name is Justin. I'm 38 years old, and I'm looking to get PRP in my scalp for hair growth, also a little Botox in the forehead for fine lines and wrinkles.
I got the 4-pack already, down packed, but this little help was going to help me get the full 6-pack. It definitely is cheating. I'll agree with them 100%.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is insane, And what I want to discuss more specifically with the ladies here, for those of you that are considering plastic surgery, that are actually thinking about plastic surgery, the only time that you should definitely, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, this is actually coming from someone that works in the medical practice for how many years now? Probably like around 8 to 10 years now. Working in the medical practice under an internal medicine nephrologist, an internal medicine physician. And I know plastic surgeons have their own ills, and I understand from a doctor's perspective, plastic surgeons require a lot more training than a normal doctor would mainly have, because again, you're dealing with the life of a patient. You're dealing with the outcome of a surgery, or of actually trying to fix a patient out, whether or not he or she either lives or dies, or in other cases, he or she's able to walk again, however it may be. You dictate all of that, okay? That there were all sorts of training for these types of reasons. And to further discuss on to the ladies that are there, in my opinion, the only way that you consider dealing with plastic surgery, or men or women, that consider plastic surgery, is if you're dealing with like a very, very serious accident you're dealing with, whether it's like a car accident or like a freak accident came by, whether it's like an accident that your face is deformed or some stuff is deformed, and with plastic surgery is desperately much needed, right? For a pregnant woman that actually just gave birth to multiple kids, and I understand you still have a struggle pulling the weight off, but you have all the saggy skin that's actually laying off you. Plastic surgery could definitely be much of need if you're dealing with liposuction to remove all the skin, or skin removal surgery as well would be the best bet for even like obese people, or formerly obese or formerly overweight people that actually have a long journey of losing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds successfully, and really had their lives changed for the better. plastic surgery or even skin removal surgery would be the best bet. But to those elsewise with those outside conditions, to the folks that are still considering plastic surgery outside of those regions, mainly women, mainly the ladies here, understand that you are impactful, all right? You are needed. You are loved. You are appreciated, right? By the greater society, by your immediate family. You are valued by what you do. And even with your loved ones, you're valued by who you are. If you're actually taking care of yourself from a health standpoint, there's no need for plastic surgery. Why go for, like the silicone cups and, the silicone butt, silicone booties and all this other stuff? Why deal with that? Why deal with like some certain shape while you can literally easily go to the gym and actually take your sweet time, trying to build the body you dream of. Even if it's through calisthenics, why not build the body instead, which maybe gruesome when it comes to timing, and maybe like a grueling process when it comes to time. But why take like the quick fix out while dealing with plastic surgery could literally end up, unaliving you. Literally, you could literally risk your life. You're putting your life in a doctor's hands with no guarantee that you'll be out in one piece. And I want you to literally deeply think about these types of ordeals before you literally make that decision. But if you're still insistent on actually doing plastic surgery, here's my advice based on my opinion on what you should do on how to sniff out a legitimate plastic surgeon based on your area. And these are the steps on how to do so.
Plastic surgeon who built a following on social media and has more than 800,000.
Let's get into the details of why this happened. About why Dr. Roxy lost her medical license. It's not because she was a doctor on TikTok. It's because she did not comply to the standards of the Ohio Medical Board. She was investigated because she live streamed her surgeries on TikTok, and she was also found to have multiple complications that were not within the standard practice of that particular procedure. There were 3 patients in particular that suffered complications that were not normal complications. One of those patients, she had live streamed their surgery on social media. Reportedly, this patient underwent a liposuction procedure and a BBL and suffered multiple intestinal perforations as a result of this procedure, which is not common. Now, she had been warned by the medical board in 2018 and 2021 about the use of her social media and the concerns regarding patient privacy. After those warnings, she continued to live stream surgeries from 2021 through 2022. As physicians, we take the Hippocratic Oath, which of course is first, do no harm. She did not perform to the standards of practice of medicine, and as a result, patients suffered complications as a result of that. Therefore, she lost her medical license.
Step 1, okay? Seek a board certified plastic surgeon up in the States. Rather than going overseas to try and get like some cheap procedure done, get a board certified plastic surgeon. And that's only just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure he's board certified within the state that he actually does plastic surgery in, so that you'll be able to actually at least be in good hands and at least be safe and sound. And that's just the beginning. That's number 1.
After years of lawsuits, the worst plastic surgeon in California may finally be getting shut down. That's a guy who calls himself Dr. Laguna and has an office in Laguna Beach where he's been performing body sculpting and has been sued by more than 23 patients for allegedly disfiguring them. I'm Kevin Nooper. I'm an attorney at Nooper & Covey, and I want to walk you through all of the various lawsuits going on around this guy and why it's taken so long for someone to actually do something about this guy, which, by the way, still is not completed. There's a picture of this guy from his webpage for his clinic, which is still up and still taking patients, it looks like, and you can see he's a YouTuber as well, so he's been YouTubing surgeries, which has gotten a lot of doctors in trouble. Generally, it's not the best doctors who are running around putting your surgery on YouTube. Now, for the last several years, he's been in trouble not just with lawsuits for medical malpractice, but before the state medical board. And it's actually kind of crazy what they did. They reviewed not the lawsuits, but there was an instance where one of his patients for a procedure called body sculpting. There's something called Vaser, which is a brand of body sculpting, and it's advertised all over Instagram and TikTok and all these other places. So be very careful about who you're paying to do this, because this guy actually was found to have killed a patient by the California Medical Board. And what happened was that he, or perhaps not him, but his nurse assistants that he had, the physician assistants, they were doing the surgeries for him. So that's one of the things that was happening over and over. They're not licensed to do that. They're not allowed to do that. And one of his patient's kidneys were punctured 15 times, and she died and had a basically brain injury and just did not make it through that. The California Medical Board, surprisingly, only gave him 90 days probation and then gave him a 10-year probationary period. So he was not able to practice medicine for 90 days, and they're like, okay, now you can go again as long as someone monitors you, even though you've had all these other various lawsuits against you. Now, these lawsuits are so graphic, I can't even show to you what was happening to these people. There was very serious injuries from the plastic surgery. They put photos in the lawsuit. It is extremely awful. And the other awful thing that many of these patients, there's 23 of them in one lawsuit, and what they're saying over and over and over again is that he was, Dr. Laguna was not just making, he was making lewd comments basically to female patients. He was forcing them to undress. He was telling them they couldn't wear clothes. He was touching them when they were basically on, the bed for the surgery getting ready. Then he would get them to sign forms for a different and more invasive procedure when they come in for something minor, and then that would run up the bills and the amount that he was making. You can see up here, this is part of that lawsuit, that even his own nurses were saying that while patients were under anesthesia, he was touching them inappropriately. He was basically assaulting them essentially while they were under. Now the state of California is suing him in a civil action, trying to force him to stop practicing medicine. They're not actually doing anything criminal, but they are trying to at least stop him from being a doctor now. For his part, he filed for bankruptcy and gave his wife $13 million in assets, trying to hide them from the people suing him, which, by the way, doesn't really work.
Number 2, is the plastic surgeon staff, assuming he runs his own practice, is his staff board certified in surgery? That's the number one key thing that you have to focus on as well. And that requires you to do some research on that surgeon's website, get to actually figure out who their team is, and it may even require you to literally try to visit them in person and actually ask for those credentials of his own staff and their history of what they have done as well, which is extremely important since you're literally putting your life in that surgeon's hands.
A strong woman with a zest for life and a passion for teaching.
Michelle's definitely outgoing, very funny, very family oriented, just a lover of life really.
But after planning to undergo what should have been a simple nose job whilst living in Turkey, this is Michelle now.
Since then, Michelle is now in a permanent vegetative state, so she cannot talk, she cannot sit up, she can't do anything for herself, she needs 24-hour care. It's been very, very hard. It's been hard for her daughter, it's been hard for my mum.
Made harder by conflicting reports. First they were told she hadn't been operated on and had suffered a cardiac arrest after a general anaesthetic, but incisions to Michelle's body suggests otherwise.
Nobody actually knows what's happened apart from Michelle and the surgeons. So yeah, I'd like to be able to get closure on the situation.
They're suing for more information. Burcu is a Turkish lawyer based in the UK and says their case is strong.
There was nothing that would explain the situation she's in right now unless something went really wrong.
Step 3, does the surgeon have social media accounts? Research the surgeon's social media very thoroughly. Does the surgeon deal with live streams? Does the surgeon deal with highlights of surgery? With permission from the patient, him or herself, okay? With permission from the patient, okay? And more so, I'm actually going to get to that as well with the privacy information literally down the line. But in those streams, in those videos, right? In those live streams, does the surgeon focus primarily more on the viewers than the patient? If he does, run, 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 run.
Will the patient with the vaginal itch please come? Vaginal itch?
Yep.
Anyone? You?
Step 4. Does the surgeon and the staff respect the HIPAA laws? And what I mean by HIPAA is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act that has been developed by the United States Congress in 1996. The HIPAA laws are primarily designed to make sure that classified information by patients are well protected by doctors under federal law as well as their respective state laws. All right. Check to see if the surgeon actually does respect the HIPAA laws of the patient with action. Okay. If you're noticing any form of lawsuits of malpractice or privacy violations by those doctors, see if you can actually try to research any other active lawsuits that that doctor has up in that respective state to see if there's any HIPAA violations involved or any medical malpractice involved. And if you notice if there are, run.
HIPAA has to be one of my least favorite laws of all time because it's one that all of us know about, but you actually can't sue to enforce it. If you have a medical record that's been compromised at your doctor's office, do you know that you can't sue them? You can't get any money for the damages that they've caused? It's completely ridiculous, but that's true. So in answer to your question about HIPAA, if you are recording a call with your doctor's office, you're giving yourself consent, and that's fine. That's legal. However, if you are talking to your doctor's office and they are recording you in a single party consent state without your permission, that's not a HIPAA violation as long as they keep that information private and confidential and don't get it disclosed in any way. However, even if they violate that, you can't sue them because it's just HIPAA.
And last but not least, if a surgeon has you sign you any waivers for any other unnecessary surgeries that you don't want, or doesn't even give you the option that you don't even want to have, they're saying, oh, these other surgeries are required for you to have it, even though it makes sure you do your thorough research on what they are and what they can lead to, so that the surgeons don't manipulate you just so they can actually try to run up a check, so they can actually try to get a quick bag. If they actually do that, run, go, okay? But if the surgeon is actually thoroughly explained to you what those surgeries are and what can lead to the whole deals, and you verify it, and if you choose to go at it, that's fine. But you're still not comfortable, you ain't got to be a part of that surgery. You don't have to actually patronize that medical practice at all. You can actually go to a different doctor that actually respects your needs and actually respects your well wishes. Okay, I've seen a situation, and I've watched in the news about the doctor from California, Dr. Malwani, whoever the numbnut is and all that other stuff. Him literally disrespecting patients, him literally harassing patients, actually having sexual scrambled eggs misconduct, having made be with the patients, all this other craziness to come by without the patient's consent. All these sexual harassment stuff, but you don't even have the nerve to really actually try and go by some bar or even like go overseas, actually trying to go try to talk some more on the side to actually trying to get his rocks off. You know what I mean? But he tries to pull something like this, and he literally unalived the patient. You know, serious stuff like this can literally impact a patient's life.
Those stunning comments caught on tape by a Houston woman who says she secretly recorded a doctor and staff during her surgery. Now, in these recordings, you hear remarks about her looks and her personality, and ABC's Gio Benitez has the story.
Listen carefully because few ever hear this.
She's a handful.
Secret recordings a patient says she made from the operating room. Ethel Easter says she hid a recorder in her hair extensions before going under the knife for a hernia operation. Easter says the hospital workers made disparaging comments about her body.
I was appalled, I was distraught, I was violated, thinking that I'm lying there naked after the surgery, and they have me still uncovered talking over my body like this.
And listen to this.
Precious, yes. This is Precious over here, saying hi to Precious over there.
Easter considered that to be a reference to the main character in the movie Precious.
It was racially profiling me, yes, I was offended by it.
Easter says she decided to secretly record her surgery after a tense meeting with the doctor.
We had some choice words to us in the clinic when we didn't book her case within 2 weeks, including I'm going to call a lawyer and file a complaint. It doesn't seem like the thing to say to the person that's going to do your surgery.
In a letter to Easter, the hospital, Harris Healthcare, says it has alerted staff to be mindful of comments at all times, but they say no further action is being taken.
Round and round we go. Wheel of annoying patients it goes.
In a separate incident, a Virginia anesthesiologist is paying the price after a man going in for a routine colonoscopy accidentally left his iPhone recording during the procedure, capturing this while knocked out.
Really, after 5 minutes of talking to you in pre-op, I wanted to punch you in the face and man you up a little.
A judge ruling the doctor in that case needs to pay $500,000.
And in this new case, the hospital tells us it won't comment because of patient privacy laws. Easter is considering a lawsuit, but she says she wants doctors to just stop speaking this way about patients in operating rooms.
Anyone who's gone under probably has wondered, but wow, that's stunning
That's right.
video, audio. Thank you so much.
So in closing, I understand for many of you ladies out there, you know, and I know this, right? The women that mainly do the plastic surgeries or actually try to yearn for the plastic surgery are actually trying to compete for the biggest melons and the biggest junk in the trunk. You know what I mean? It's primarily attention between other women and other men. Basically, that's just to get themselves an ego boost, is actually trying to make themselves validated due to the fact that they have deep traumas and other deep insecurities in their lives that we know nothing about, which is a sin and a shame. And due to the fact that they actually try and find the mate that they feel attracted to or actually they feel suited to in their eyes in the hopes that he can literally scramble her eggs. You know what I'm saying? All the ego boost, man. That's all it is. It's a straight ego boost. And what I want to try and explain to you ladies again, you are impactful. You are loved. You're appreciated by what you do, whether or not you run the household, or you're making an impact with your dream jobs or your dream business, or being a dream entrepreneur. All right. You are impacted. You are appreciated by your immediate family as well as society at large based on what you do. And no one, okay, the people that love you, the people that support you, you know, the people that are concerned about you, all right, those people do not want to see your life thrown away just because of some mishap with some plastic surgery. Or even if, you know, God forbid, something really happens to plastic surgery, even if things go right or something else goes wrong, where one wrong needle, you know, basically actually just punctures through a vein and do a blood clot issues, God forbid you get unalived that way. You know, it's a scary sight. You can hit 6 feet under literally too soon. For what? You know, just want to try and get like a bigger junk up in the body and like bigger melons and get like a quick fix that way and try and risk your life that way. And blow up hundreds of thousands of dollars within a month, not just dealing with the surgery, but also dealing with the rehab process up in their house, which could take months on end for you to recover. Not only that, you don't only have to deal with that. Again, you still got to maintain the shape through exercise regardless. You know, which is why, in my opinion, plastic surgery is mainly pointless unless it's for emergency situations. All right? You don't really need to go down that route if you feel deeply insecure about your body. You know what I mean? If you're insecure, whatever form of body that you may have, you know, you're definitely welcome to come talk to me. You can definitely be welcome to actually choose to talk with a personal trainer if you choose to, or spend some time with your friends, or even just start being active and actually trying to calm your nerves and not worry too much about what the outside world mainly has to offer. You know, it's a shame. It really is a shame. Okay? Go speak to your primary care physician about what your strategies are, at least. You know what I mean? Just don't let your ego get into the way of literally blowing your head up, so that you don't have to worry about making an unnecessary life-altering decision that comes at you in a negative way. All right? And again, it's a shame that I have to literally make a part 3 of rehabbing Disney princesses dealing with the perils of plastic surgery. Man. Condolences to the patients that pass away due to mishaps when it comes to these procedures, when it comes to plastic surgery. Oh man, what a shame. Again, to the women that are actually considering plastic surgery with all those reasons except for the very important ones, You are loved, you are appreciated, you are honored, you are impactful.
I can relate to where you were coming from. Very attractive woman. Most people are seeing that photo of you saying, why did she touch her face? Well, you're going in for what you felt was a simple injection. What can that hurt? You trusted the doctor. You trusted what this doctor was injecting into your face. And the three of us as board certified plastic surgeons, we've all seen this. People that have received silicone injections in the face, in the body, in the breast, and I can see why you would be talked into that, because when you say, okay, silicone is permanent, that sounds great. Oh, I don't have to come back. I don't have to come back. I'm going to address the issue and it's taken care of. Well, what the problem with silicone is you never know how it's going to react. It is permanent. In so many cases, it's just a matter of time that it is going to become an inflammatory problem. So that being said, Reza, let's get you involved. And I just want to say, first of all, that I know you as a colleague. We go way back, and I'm so proud that you stepped up to the plate. Everybody said, no, I don't want to do it. And I understand why. We've been in that position. When you take this on, it now becomes your patient and your problem. All the things that were created by somebody else are now your issue.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I made the decision, because Carol is a dream patient. I mean, she was in a very difficult position, and you taught me this, Drew, when I was a resident, that you can't give up on people because the challenges are difficult. And so she has actually pushed me and made me a better physician by venturing into a challenging area where I wouldn't know the outcome.
Well, that being said, what was that challenge? If you can walk us through what this reconstructive surgery entailed.
The first surgery was just a surgery to lift the brows to allow her to see. And when she came to me, she was taping her forehead up higher to scalp to lift the forehead up. She couldn't actually walk out the door without tape on her forehead. And during that surgery, I realized that the quality of the tissue was so poor, rock hard in some areas from all the scar and inflammation, and I couldn't just remove it and recontour it and move it around, that it had to be replaced. So along with one of my partners at UCLA, we did a very major invasive surgery, and you saw one of the photos there, where we took a block of skin and fat from her back and used that to completely resurface the forehead. And then the last major surgery was to try and essentially do like a facelift, to take the bulk of silicone and other materials that was filling out the middle and lower parts of her face and cheek to give her just a more natural contour to the face.
And Carol, the reason that I'm so impressed with you is this is the worst case we've seen here, and your result is phenomenal. And where you came from, I want to ask your daughter quickly, because you're bravely holding your mom's hand, Sophia. You're part of the reason that your mom is here today. I don't think she would be here or have sought help if it weren't for you. So kudos to you. But what allowed you to convince your mom that it was time to start living again?
I just felt like it was time. I hadn't seen my mom's eyes in 4 years. I hadn't been able to look into her eyes in 4 years, and I just knew she had a better quality of life than what she was living. So I just felt like she needs to be out in the world again.
Carol, you're never going to go back to where you were before this all started, but hopefully somewhere along this journey, you've gotten your life back. It sure seems like you have a wonderful daughter by your side. Dr. Jerry, thank you for taking this case on.
Juicy!